Good morning, everybody. It's Alpha Anthony, and I'm back, and we're chilling here with Pearl. We're going to talk about the femininity crisis this morning or this evening, depending on when and where you're watching and whatnot. If you're watching now, you're watching later, which you might be watching later just because it's the morning. But let's get into this. There is a femininity crisis in the world, first off, and I would like to say there's a masculinity crisis as well. And then there's many thoughts on how we could change this, but nothing seems to be working. But I have some advice that you could keep watching and tune in and to see because it is very thoughtful and it could very help society progress into a more traditional way, and it could just get rid of all this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna get into this and let Pearl speak and see what she wants to say, because some of her views coincide with mine, but some of them are off, and some of them she's learning from different people. Like she has exposures to people that aren't as masculine or alpha, but she's tricked in because she's a female and she's less masculine into thinking they're alphas. So let's go ahead and see what she has to say, and we'll speak about it.
So, when I first got into red pill content, I didn't understand what the fuss was. After all, I grew up in a nice area. I didn't have all these OnlyFans chicks around me. So, I didn't understand why the men were complaining. And in my head, I kept thinking not all women were like that. What I realized is to the average guy, there is no such thing as a good woman. Let me show you why. So, we're going to make a chart.
You can find a good woman, but to the average guy,
Okay, so
that might be
this is
true.
a 10, this is a 0, okay? Now, over here, this is the body count scale. So this is how many people a woman has slept. You know, the data says...
This is what we should be learning in school. I like that we're using a whiteboard.
Dunzo gone, okay? So let's just, we'll do 7. So this is 7 and below, women that are 7 and below partners. This is, so typically the men, they want to date, let's be generous. Let's just say 5s and up. I know the guys are like, no, I won't do a 5, but okay, let's just be generous today. 5s and up. And
Man, depends on the personality. Just for a date.
I think most men would prefer less than 5, but today we're going to do 7, all right? So less than 7, we have the Y, okay? Now, let's just call a spade, guys. Hot chicks get special privileges. They just do. Guys will say they won't marry or date them. They will. So let's just call, so the 8.
I have standards on myself, and they're pretty high, so she already got to be kind of high. And basically, she has to treat me right and have a good personality for sure. Because body count, we're never going to know that. But you could tell who's a sleut in 304, so avoid those.
You know, girls, I mean, you guys know the sneaky cheating, the sneaky doing stuff and like rebranding, all that, whatever.
Sneaky links.
You really know for sure that this girl is not this girl. There's a hard time to tell the difference. And on top of that, these girls, there's a ton of competition for. So it's pretty hard to compete and win one of these girls because of the media. Because now social media has it that even an average chick can get hit on by the top 1, 5, 10% of men in society. So the issue is if a guy does go for a girl that hasn't slept around and is attractive enough for him, you know, Drake can come in and steal your girl. On top of that, there's no way for them to know for sure that she hasn't slept around. So the only solution is for guys to become
Drake.
the best version of themselves, right? Because
Yes, become the best version of yourself for sure, gentlemen.
Social media, which gives women a million options now today, is by being a guy that makes a lot of money, being a guy that's in shape, being a guy that, you know, is assertive, masculine, has game. All the things that you see all the other red pill channels teach. And it used to trigger me because they would say, oh, just sleep with a bunch of women, right? And initially I was like, well, why would you want to do that? That's whole.
This is where I disagree with a lot of the red pill people. A lot of the people that say sleep with a bunch of women, they haven't had the opportunity to sleep with a bunch of women. And in my younger days, I used to sleep with a bunch of women. I would classify myself as, or my women around me would classify myself as a 304, male 304, which you can't be a male 304, first of all. We'll get into that in a different video. But I'll advise against that because it's not fulfilling. You learn a lot about women to the point to where you learn there's a lot that are not great, but you don't blame them because then you learn a lot about men. There's a lot of not great simping men out there that makes things worse. But I would say do your thing. I mean, don't limit yourself, but actually enjoy the woman's company. Don't just do it to have sex. Don't just do it to sleep with them. Don't just do it to get the notch under your belt. Things like that, that's a young mentality. I'm trying to teach you to be masculine men, alpha males, and traditional men out here. We're not trying to turn people into 304s. We're not trying to be homemakers. We're not trying to do anything like that. We're trying to be homemakers, make women into wifey materials, mother material, and make them more traditional. We're not trying to play them and trying to just have sex. I typically do not date or have sex nowadays since I'm 30. Women, unless I see them as potential mothers of my children, if they can do that. If not, I'm not going to take them too seriously. There's no point, really. We're going to get back to what she's going to say, but that's my point on the topic real quick, and then once I listen to her and let her speak and then hear her side, if anything changes, I'll let you know, and you'll know.
Horrible. But you have to remember that a lot of guys teach this as a response to women. It's a response because, a lot of guys will say, oh, it's so easy to tell the difference between this chick and this chick. But we can all think of a guy that, right? You guys could think of a guy, right? My producers are nodding. That is dating a born again, hoe or whatever, and he has no idea. And guys aren't really with that. So that's why they preach that. I'm not saying do that or don't, but it kind of makes sense because when you think about it, the women are the ones that aren't getting married young because men
Born again virgin isn't a thing.
Chick, and when the chicks are young and hot, they're not choosing monogamy, not choosing to get married. So, in this crazy world, what are guys supposed to do? Now, I'm not here to give prescriptions. I'm not telling the guys how to live their life, but I hope this explains why guys like Myron say to sleep with 50 plus chicks before settling down. Because, you just kind of have to tell the difference between these girls and these girls. So remember, a lot of red pill or, pickup dating advice is telling guys to adapt to the current market. Now, what is the current market, okay? We're going to draw the average chick. Now, remember, there are women that will be great wives and mothers. There are amazing women that, I have to, a disclaimer, isn't all women. But the numbers don't make us look good, ladies. So remember, the average chick, right, this is Sally. 90% of women have been on birth control at one point in their life.
I'm against birth control. That's my stance on that. Please don't get on birth control.
Women are virgins on their wedding days, okay? The average body count, which women have admitted to sleeping with 7 guys in college in a year. Now, if you do an aggregate of body counts, with older women, younger women.
We're going to rewind that a little bit because I went a little over her stats, talked over her stats a little bit, but those are important. So let's go.
1 out of 3 has had an abortion. 1 out of 4 has an STD. Only 5.
No, let's go.
Now, remember, there are women
Here's
that
the stats.
are great wives and mothers. There are amazing women that, like this, I have to, a disclaimer, isn't all women. But the numbers don't make us look good, ladies. So remember, the average chick, right, this is Sally, 90% of women have been on birth control at one point in their life. 1 out of 3 has had an abortion. 1 out of 4 has an STD. Only 5% of women are virgins on their wedding days, okay? The average body count, which women have admitted to sleeping with 7 guys in college in a year. Now, if you do an aggregate of body counts, you know, with older women and younger women, the average body count is between 5 and 8. Although, you know, guys really don't believe that. So again, this advice is for the average chick. They're not saying all women are like that, but let's just say a guy wants a virgin on his wedding day. It's only 5% of women. So the question is, why would a guy court a girl traditionally if these are the women on the market? Can you blame them? Now, this isn't to hate on women. You know, I'm a woman.
Don't get in too deep. That's what she's telling y'all.
Craziness. But the reason I'm laying this out for you guys is a lot of more traditional conservatives will judge the red pill for the advice they give instead of understanding this is the market. And I hate to say it, but the more freedom women we have got sexually, the more we're on this debauchery. This is the body count to hotness scale. Let me know. Maybe I need to make edits to this. Let me know in the comments how we can improve this, but this is like a working theory I have. Like the video on your way out. Subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you next time. So, when I first got into...
All right, so she made a lot of points that were valid, that were good and everything. There's some things I didn't agree with, of course, like sleeping with 50 men, and that's something that me and Myron don't agree on. That's because there's a difference between someone that built their masculinity that it didn't come natural to a natural alpha masculine male. And I come from the natural alpha masculine male part, which doesn't take give me or take away any credibility because everyone's different. But as a natural alpha masculine male, it's a tongue tire. But that means that I've done that through experience as well and not really learning because it came natural, and I was put in situations like I grew up with women in my life and learned how to just stay in my masculine and be the provider because I was put that at a young age. I was put in those positions. So it comes naturally to me, and I've been working out. I've been on my grind. So I've been with women, and I don't need to do that. I mean, I probably already passed that, but I don't need to do it intentionally, and I don't advise people to do it intentionally because a lot of those run-ins, one-night stands and things did not have value, did not bring value into my life. And it brought not trauma to my life, but it brought trauma to other people's lives, and it brought, like, I guess, turmoil to my life, with sometimes people getting pregnant or like false pregnancies, things like that, or trying to get pregnant or say they're pregnant and purport it, and then the dangers in those, and then things like that. Luckily, I never got a disease, but that's out there too to worry about. And as you've seen in the stats, a lot of these women have STDs. What is it? 1 in 4 women have an STD. You don't want to get an STD. And speaking as myself, I don't like to wrap it up too much, so I'd rather keep my circle small. I like to deal with the same women that are loyal, that have been with me, and that actually are down for me and that love me. You know what I mean? I don't limit myself to one woman, of course, but I don't think you should go out and try to have all the women or try to conquest and try to get as many women as you can, because women aren't the end-all be-all. First of all, you have to make money, go do things. You have to have a life, and women take time. It's if you're on Tinder all day, it takes time out your day. You're just scrolling, trying to get women. You're going out to bars, trying to waste your night, trying to find women. You could have been working on a business, making money, and women will come to you. So that's my take on that. Let the women come to you guys. That's I guess that's a big thing you get from a video like this, that someone that like Pearl can't teach you that because she's a woman, so she can't really take in the extremity of our situation here. If you're average male, you should be worried about money, not women, because the money is gonna bring the women. Because you're not gonna get any better looking unless you can work out to look better. You can fix your posture to look better. We'll go over a video with that, which is very informative. At a later date, maybe later today. We'll figure it out. But thank you for watching, and just know, make money and women will come to you. But there is a femininity crisis, and I agree with a lot in this video. But like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Thanks for joining me.